It was ridiculous, really, how a single man could destroy me and save me in the same lifetime. One night I swore I would never let him touch me again, and the next, I found myself searching for his face in every crowded street. I hated him, I loved him, and that contradiction was the chain I could never break. Ethan Carter, my rival in every courtroom, the man who could slice me open with words sharper than knives. But behind the suits and arrogance, there was something else. Something I had once known too intimately, before it all turned to ash. We met again in the most humiliating way. I was standing in front of a crumbling apartment door in Brooklyn, rain soaking through my shirt, suitcase at my side. My world had just collapsed, the job gone, the relationship shattered, and nowhere else to go. And it was Ethan, of all people, who opened the door. His dark eyes widened, then narrowed, that infuriating smirk tugging at his lips. "Really? You? Here?" he asked, leaning against the frame like he owned the place. I wanted to punch him, or kiss him, probably both. "You don't get to act surprised," I snapped, though my voice cracked. It's not like I had any choice. The silence stretched between us, heavy, dangerous. Then, for reasons I still can't explain, he stepped aside. "Fine, come in. But don't think this means anything." Inside, the place smelled like coffee and cigarettes. Books stacked everywhere, law files tossed on the couch, jazz playing faintly in the background. It was so Ethan, messy, arrogant, but oddly safe. I dropped my suitcase and tried not to shake. He poured me a glass of whiskey without asking, slid it across the table, and sat down across from me. His gaze lingered too long, like he was memorizing my exhaustion, my defeat. "You look like hell," he said finally. "Thanks. You always knew how to comfort people." The corner of his mouth twitched. Still sarcastic. "Good. At least life hasn't beaten that out of you." But beneath the banter, I saw it. That flicker of something softer. The Ethan I used to know, the one who held me once on a night when I thought the world was ending. The one who whispered my name like it meant something. And for the first time in years, I let myself breathe. The next weeks were a war of their own. Sharing space with Ethan was like living with a storm. He was infuriating, always pressing, always mocking, as if daring me to break. But in the quiet moments, late nights over takeout, his hand brushing mine when he passed me a file, his voice dropping low when he thought I was asleep, the walls between us cracked. One night, I woke to find him sitting at the window, cigarette in hand, staring out at the city lights. The moon painted his face in silver, and for the first time he looked tired, human. "You ever regret it?" I asked, voice barely above a whisper. He didn't turn, just exhaled smoke. "Every damn day." Something in my chest broke then, because I realized he wasn't the monster I'd painted him to be. He was a man, as ruined and as lonely as I was. I got up, walked to him, and before I could stop myself, I touched his hand. He flinched but didn't pull away. Our fingers tangled, hesitantly at first, then with a desperate certainty. And in that fragile moment I knew he was still the chain that bound me. But maybe, just maybe, he could also be the home I'd been searching for all along. We fought. God, did we fight. Over everything, over the past, over our fears, over the mess we'd made of each other. But underneath the shouting, there was always something else. A pull neither of us could deny. One evening, after a brutal argument about the case we were both working on, me for the defense, him for the prosecution, I stormed out, swearing I'd never come back. But I didn't even make it past the corner before he caught my wrist. "Don't walk away again," he said, breathless, his grip trembling. I spun on him, fury burning through me. "Why not? You'll just tear me apart like you did last time." His eyes shone with something raw, something almost broken. "Because this time I don't want to lose you." And just like that, the ground shifted. My anger dissolved, leaving only the unbearable truth. I wanted him. I always had. I kissed him like a drowning man gasping for air. Fierce, desperate, teeth and tears all tangled together. He pulled me closer, his hands sliding into my hair, the other around my waist, holding me like he was terrified I'd vanish. For the first time in years, I felt alive. He kissed me like it was both an apology and a confession. My entire body trembled under the weight of years we had lost. Years buried under pride, betrayal, and silence. That night, for the first time, I let myself collapse in his arms without fighting. I let Ethan hold me until the city lights faded into dawn. But love, especially ours, was never simple. The trial was brutal. Every day in court, we were enemies against him, relentless and ruthless, tearing into every argument I built. Me, refusing to back down, even as my heart ached each time our eyes met across the room. To the world, we were rivals locked in a battle of law and ego. But behind closed doors, we were something messier, something infinitely more dangerous, two men still chained to each other, trying to figure out if the chain was prison or salvation. One night, after a particularly vicious day in court, I threw my briefcase on the floor and collapsed onto Ethan's couch, unable to breathe. He followed me in, loosening his tie, jaw tight with tension. "You made me look like a fool today," he muttered. "You deserved it." I shot back, my voice sharp, but softer than I meant. He stopped, staring at me. The room buzzed with unspoken words, with everything we wanted to say but couldn't. Finally, his mask cracked. "I can't keep doing this, fighting you in the day and wanting you every damn night." The honesty cut deeper than any insult. I swallowed hard. "Then stop pretending, Ethan. Stop acting like this is just some game you're winning. Because I'm tired. I'm tired of fighting you when all I want is—" My voice broke. "All I want is you." The silence that followed felt like a free fall. Then Ethan crossed the room in 3 steps, dropped to his knees in front of me, and pressed his forehead to my hands. His shoulders shook, his breath ragged. "You think I don't want that too? You think I haven't been tearing myself apart every night, wishing I could go back, fix it all?" I lifted his chin, forcing him to meet my eyes. And for once, I didn't see the cunning lawyer or the arrogant rival. I saw Ethan, the boy who once kissed me behind the bleachers, who once whispered promises under a blanket of stars. The man who had hurt me, yes, but who was also trying, desperately, to be better. So I kissed him, gentle this time. No anger. No desperation, just love. The case ended weeks later. I won barely, but it didn't matter anymore, because the real victory was not in the courtroom. It was in the quiet moments that followed, when we were no longer rivals, no longer enemies, just 2 men daring to hope again. We moved slowly, cautiously. Trust doesn't rebuild overnight, and scars don't vanish just because you kiss them. But every morning I woke to Ethan's arms around me, to the warmth of his body pressed against mine. I believed a little more. One Sunday, as we sat on the fire escape, coffee mugs in hand, watching the city breathe beneath us, Ethan finally said the words I'd been waiting years to hear. "I love you," he whispered, almost like he was afraid the world would punish him for it. I smiled, tears blurring the skyline. "I know, and I love you too. Always have." He pulled me into his chest, pressing a kiss to my temple. And for the first time in forever, I felt safe. Not because the world had gotten easier, not because our story was perfect, but because we had finally chosen each other fully, unapologetically. Years from now, maybe people will still remember Ethan Carter and me as rivals, as 2 lawyers who clawed at each other in court until the walls shook. But that's not the story that matters. The real story is this: 2 broken men found each other in the chaos of New York City. We hurt, we fought, we stumbled. But in the end, love wasn't the chain that bound us. Love was the key. Ethan once was my cage, but now he is my freedom, my safe haven, my home, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.